Hey, welcome back. I'm Emily. And if you've been with us since part one, first of all, thank you. That means that you're the kind of person who actually does the work. And that matters more than you think. If you're joining us for the first time, you can absolutely start here. But I will say, parts one and two will hit differently when you're in it. So bookmark them. Okay, day 61. Let me ask you something. How are you actually feeling right now? Because I remember this point pretty clearly, and it wasn't what I expected. I thought I'd feel confident. I thought 60 days in, I'd have this settled sense of, oh, I've got this. And in some ways, I did. But there was something else sitting right next to it. This quiet voice that said, okay, the learning curve is flattening. People are watching now. What are you actually going to do? And that feeling, that's not imposter syndrome. That's awareness. It means you've been paying attention. It means you understand what's at stake. And it means you're ready for what comes next. Because here's what taking the wheel actually means. It doesn't mean having all the answers. It doesn't mean becoming the loudest voice in the room. It means starting to act like someone who belongs here. Not because someone gave you permission, but because you've earned it. In part one, we cracked the code. In part two, we built the bench. Now, in part three, taking the wheel, you step forward, take ownership, and start driving your impact. Let's get into it. I want to talk about something that nobody really teaches you, and something I had to figure out the hard way. Around day 60, I started noticing that people had impressions of me. My manager introduced me in a meeting as our newest team member who's been really helpful with X. A teammate described me to someone else as the person who does Y. And I remember thinking, is that who I am here? Is that the whole picture? Because here's the truth. If you're not shaping how people see you, someone else is doing it for you. And they're doing it with incomplete information. Now, before we go further, I want to name something because I know what some of you are thinking. I've only been here for 60 days. I haven't done enough to have a story, and I hear that. And I want to push back on it, gently. You don't need a highlight reel to have a narrative. You need clarity. Clarity on what you value, how you work, and what you're building toward. That's available to you on day one. You just have to decide to use it. The second thing I hear a lot is, I don't want to seem like I'm bragging. And I get it. There's a real fear, especially early in your career, of coming across as overconfident or self-promotional. But here's the reframe. Talking about yourself clearly and honestly is not arrogance. Arrogance is overclaiming. What we're doing here is just accuracy. And the third one, the one that held me back the longest, is waiting to be noticed. I kept thinking, if I do good work, people will see it. And sometimes that's true, but in a big company, in a hybrid world with 100 other things competing for attention, good work that isn't visible is invisible work. Full stop. So here's what I want you to be able to do by the end of this segment. I want you to be able to answer, tell me about yourself, in a meeting, in a hallway, in an intro, with confidence and without freezing. And the way I do that is with 3 simple prompts: who I am, what I bring, and where I'm going. Who I am is your foundation, your role, your background, the thread that connects what you've done to why you're here. 1 to 2 sentences, not your whole resume, just what's relevant right now. What I bring is your value, not what your job description says, what you actually bring into a room. Are you someone who simplifies complex ideas, builds trust quickly, asks the question no one else is asking? That's your value. Name it. Where I'm going is your direction. You don't need a 5-year plan. You just need a sentence that shows you're thinking forward. I'm focused on building my skills in X, or I'm excited to grow into why. That's enough. It shows intention, and people remember intentional people. Here's mine, just so you can hear what it sounds like out loud. I'm Emily. I'm on the team, and I came to Microsoft because I wanted to work on problems that actually scale. What I bring is the ability to connect dots across teams and turn ambiguity into a plan. Right now, I'm focused on growing my skills in communication and building strong working relationships. That's it. 30 seconds. No over-explaining, no bragging, just clarity. Write yours this week. Practice it out loud at least once. I know it feels awkward, but it works. And the next time someone asks, you'll be ready. Here's something I want to address directly, because I did this myself. You're in a meeting. Someone asks for ideas. You have one. It's right there. And you don't say it, because you're thinking, someone's probably already thought of this. I don't have enough context yet. What if I'm wrong? So you stay quiet, and the meeting moves on. I want you to stop doing that. Here's the truth about your perspective right now. You're 60 days in. You're not jaded. You're not locked into how things have always been done. You're seeing things clearly and asking questions people stopped asking a long time ago. That's not a weakness. That's value. Fresh perspective is not a liability. It's an advantage. Now, I'm not saying walk into a room and blow everything up. I'm saying when you notice something, give it shape and share it. And the shape is simple. Observation. So what? Here's what I'd try. Observation. What you're noticing. Just the facts. No judgment. I've noticed the handoff between these two steps is creating a delay. So what? Why it matters. Connect it to something the team cares about. That delay is adding about a week to our timeline. Here's what I'd try. One concrete idea, not a full solution, just a direction. I wonder if a quick midweek check-in could help us catch that earlier. That's it. 3 sentences. You're not claiming to have all the answers. You're showing that you're paying attention and thinking forward. And to the fear that someone's already thought of it, maybe they have, but they haven't said it out loud recently. And sometimes the most valuable person in the room is the one willing to say the quiet part. So let's make this practical, because having a point of view in a meeting doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from being prepared and from following through clearly after. And this is where I use Copilot around almost every important meeting. I think of it in 2 moments, before and after. Quick note before I show you this. If your organization isn't using Copilot in Teams yet, don't skip this. If your meeting was recorded, you already have what you need. Go into the meeting recap, open the transcript, download it, and paste it into whatever AI tool you use. Same prompts, same outcome, just a different path. Part 1. Before the meeting, get prepared. By month 3, you're in more meetings, and the expectation has shifted. You're not just there to listen, you're there to contribute. So before the meeting, I open Copilot in Teams. And I don't overthink it. I just ask, give me a brief background on this topic, and suggest 3 questions I should be prepared to answer. Now, watch what happens. It gives me a quick summary of what this meeting is actually about, the key context I need, and 3 realistic questions I might get asked. So now I walk in thinking, here's what matters here. Here's where I might be pulled in. Here's how I can add something useful. I'm not guessing anymore. I'm ready. Part 2. After the meeting, capture and lead. Now, the meeting ends, and this is where most people lose momentum. You leave with a lot of information, a few scattered notes, and a vague sense of what you committed to, and by midweek, it's unclear. So, here's what I do right after. I open the meeting recap in Teams, or paste in the transcript if I have it downloaded. And I ask, Summarize the key decisions from this meeting and draft a concise follow-up with clear next steps and owners. Give it a second. And now I have a clean summary, decisions clearly called out, and next steps with ownership, something I can actually send. I skim it, adjust anything small, and send it out. Why this matters. This isn't just about staying organized. When you're the person who sends the follow-up, you become the person who clarifies what happened, reinforces priorities, and keeps things moving. You're not just in the meeting, you're shaping what happens after it. The system. 2 moments. Before, we get clear, and after, we create clarity. That's how you stop reacting and start leading, even early in your role. We're coming up on 90 days, and before I show you this, I want to ask you something. When your manager sits down with you and asks, how do you think your first 90 days went? And where do you want to go from here? What are you going to say? If your honest answer is, I don't know yet, this is exactly what this demo is for. Here's something I had to learn the hard way. Reflection is not journaling. It's not something you do when you have a quiet moment and feel like thinking about your life. It's a strategic move, because the person who can clearly articulate what they've learned, what they've contributed, and where they're going next is very hard to overlook. And yet, most people skip this, not because they don't care, but because they don't know how to start. They sit down and their mind goes blank. Or they look at what they've done and think, does this even matter? Is this enough? So I want to get you out of your head. And this is where Copilot becomes a really strong thinking partner. Step 1, brain dump with no filter. I open Copilot Chat and I start messy. Everything I've worked on, everything I've learned, everything I've touched, no structure, no polish, just get it out. Then I type, I'm going to share everything I've worked on and learned in my first 90 days. Help me identify key themes in my growth and suggest 3 development goals for the next quarter. Then I paste my list. And this is important. It does not need to look impressive. It just needs to be honest. Step 2, find the pattern in your themes and goals. Now, watch what happens. It doesn't just organize the list. It finds the thread. It pulls out patterns like how you communicate, how you solve problems, how you show up across your team, things you felt but didn't have the language for yet. And then it turns those into real development goals, not vague ones. Clear, directional goals you can actually talk about. Step 3, make it strategic, connect to the team. Now, here's the move that changes everything. I ask, for each of these goals, suggest one way I can connect it to a current priority on my team. This is what takes your reflection from personal to strategic. Because now, you're not just saying, I want to grow in this. You're saying, I want to grow in this, and here's how it helps the team succeed. That's a completely different conversation. The system, 3 steps. Dump, identify, and connect. That's it. Why this matters? This is not busy work. This is you building a clear point of view on your own growth. So when you walk into that 90-day conversation, you're not guessing. You're leading it. Because the person who says, here's what I've learned, here's what I've contributed, and here's where I'm going next, sounds very different from the person who says, I'm still figuring it out. And at this stage of your career, that difference matters. I want to take a second before we wrap, because I've been thinking about what I would have wanted someone to say to me on day 1. I would have wanted someone to tell me that the discomfort I was feeling wasn't a sign that I was in the wrong place. It was a sign that I was growing, that the moments where I felt like I didn't know enough, wasn't connected enough, hadn't done enough yet, those weren't evidence that I didn't belong. They were just part of the process. I would have wanted someone to tell me that the relationships I was nervous to reach out and make, The coffee chats I almost didn't send would become some of the most valuable connections I'd make here. And I would have wanted someone to tell me that my perspective specifically, because I was new, specifically because I hadn't been here long enough to stop asking why, was worth something. That fresh eyes aren't a liability. They're a gift. And that gift has an expiration date. So use it while you have it. Here's the one thing I want you to carry from this series. Your first 90 days aren't just an orientation period. They're the first chapter of how people here will know you, and you get to write it. Not perfectly, not without mistakes, but intentionally, with curiosity and courage and the tools to back you up. Copilot won't do the work for you, but it will clear the path so you can focus on the work that actually matters, the relationships, the ideas, the moments where you show up fully and make your mark. So, day 90, you made it. Now, go build something. I'm Emily, and I'll see you out there.